What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. After Sound here, bringing you Splinterlands content every single day. We also stream on this channel here Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Sunday mornings, so come by and say hello. All right, so we got an update last night. Nothing too major here. What I did want to focus on was the fact that we got some official numbers from the team. Now, I've been doing a lot of speculation on this, and while I wouldn't say that these are exact from a daily standpoint, these do seem to be, what the team is suggesting from a monthly standpoint, what we can expect going forward from here to the end of the airdrop, as well as after the airdrop. So, what am I talking about? Well, there was the Splinter Shards SPS token updates. Now, this was posted in the Discord. The link to this article was posted by Matt, who summarized some pieces of this article. So there was a Yaba Matt sighting. I don't know if we're going to see him in this week's town hall, but it was good to hear from him, especially regarding SPS, as that is his passion project and what we're doing and what the team is doing with it. So let's actually dive into some of the main details here. So again, we've discussed some of this on the channel, but like I said, it's nice to get the team's perspective, because sometimes there are places where SPS is going out that we may not be sure of, right? So it's hard to calculate the numbers in any kind of pure 100% accuracy. So the big news is the 10th and final SPS private investor sale was distributed yesterday, or over this past weekend, last weekend of April. And so that means there's going to be 20 million less SPS printed per month. So that is actually going to bring things down from 71 million to 51 million for the next couple of months until the end of the airdrop. So May, June, and then July, but the airdrop ends, I believe, July 26th. So that last month, not so much. Then additionally, they want to remind people that there are less than 90 days for the airdrop, and that it's going to be reduced by another 33.3 million per month, bringing the total to 17 million, well, 17.8 million SPS distributed per month. So we're going to go down from 71 to 17 between yesterday, I guess, and the this past weekend and the airdrop, or end of the airdrop. So after that, it's going to be a drastic decrease, but the reduction, as he says, is going to be partially offset by some of these upcoming other distribution methods and dilution methods. So I've talked about this before, but we actually have some real numbers now from the team to know, well, I mean, we need the numbers. We still don't know when the actual timing for these will be, but in terms of what it's going to come out to, they're saying and expecting to launch later this year SPS ranked battles. So that is something that I've been talking about a lot more recently. I don't know when it's going to happen. Somebody had told me that it was actually going to be pushed to 2023, but it sounds like they're trying to push this for 2022, which makes sense because, as I've been saying, the DEC rewards are going to dry up very dramatically once the airdrop is over, and if we go back to the peg or even below the peg. So there's the ranked battles. There's going to be liquidity provider incentives. So for those of you getting SPS from providing liquidity to the DEC pools right now, there may be some incentives in the future. So there may not be this massive rush out of DEC in the way that we were expecting. That remains to be seen, but there are going to be some type of LP rewards. Guild brawls are going to start receiving SPS. So as I've been saying, I just recently started getting into guilds and brawls and frays and all that fun stuff. I think this is a great time to do that, and I think it was really smart of the team to probably hold off on this until closer to the end of the airdrop, when people could level up their guilds to a respectable earnable level without paying an arm and a leg, with DEC being well above its peg. So I'm actually in favor of the fact that they held this off, as well as SPS ranked battles. And then of course validator nodes, but validator nodes are scheduled for Q4. We'll see if that ends up happening. That's one of those things where it seems like such a big project that I respect and admire the team, setting very ambitious deadlines, but I'm always ready for that to be delayed. These other three, I can actually see them being implemented as soon as the airdrop is over, because liquidity providers, they want to make sure that they are incentivizing LPs or liquidity providers to keep their money in there, keep their liquidity in there. For ranked battles, I think that's another really important one because, again, with DEC falling and potentially going below its peg, the rewards for this are just not really going to be there. And then guild brawls, I mean, that would just be a nice to have. But keep in mind, these are going to go for a total of 65 months, decreasing by 1% per month over that time. And so initially, they're going to add 21.25 million to the overall dilution per month. So 21, what is this? I'm going to do some mental math here in front of you guys. Hopefully I don't embarrass myself. So 21.17. So we're going to have roughly 38 million, which means now that we have this kind of now that we have these numbers specifically from the team, what we are going to have from where we've been over the past couple of months to where we are going eventually is SPS is going to be diluted at a rate actually less than 50% lower, right? It's going to be like 60% of what it used to be as we go from 71 down to 38. It's not a clean, halving at that point, but there still will be, in my opinion, a significant supply shock. And this has been mentioned in many other instances and by many other people. So I'm not trying to take their insights. I'm just trying to highlight them. What is going to be interesting here is right now, just for owning SPS, owning assets in the game, you are getting SPS like crazy, right? But in the future, some of that 71 million that used to be, and what is going to be 38 million in the future, some of that is going to require you to actually play the game. So ranked battles is a big one, and then guild brawls is another. So yes, there's still going to be SPS staking rewards. That's actually going to be a huge part. That's not going to end anytime soon. If anything, that's probably got another 4 years or so, or 53 months at this point. Once we get to the end of the airdrop, excuse me. And so, ranked battles and guild brawls being a significant portion of this, I think is going to be very. To me, that means a lot, right? Like, you are going to have to be playing the game in order to earn SPS versus just having assets and earning SPS. So when you think about all of the whales, and I don't say this disparagingly, right? When you think about all the people who've been playing this game, the OGs for a while, who were essentially rewarded for literally just owning assets in the game, that for the most part is going to come to an end. Right? Obviously, with the airdrop, that's going to come to an end. The SPS staking is still going to keep going. But as we go further along here, these four things that are going to be added in, two of them, right, ranked battles and guild brawls, are going to require you to actually play in order to earn SPS. And then liquidity providers and validator nodes, those are going to be, somewhat active investments, right? People will need to buy the SPS validator nodes in order to reap the benefits of them. And then for the liquidity providers, right now you were getting the airdrop from doing that. So that doesn't necessarily change. It's still kind of going to be the same, but it won't be at the same scale, obviously, as the airdrop. And especially with, DEC being pegged 2-to-1 for the airdrop points if you put them in an LP. Like, I don't know what it's going to look like in the future. I don't think it's going to be as lucrative as that, but they do still want to incentivize people to keep their money in the LPs. So that is on the supply side, and then they go into the demand side, which is going to be the validator node licenses, which, as we know, is going to burn SPS. Then there's going to be the upcoming sale of Rift Watchers Mini Edition, which is expected in Q3. I'm confident that we're going to get it in Q3. I just don't know if we're going to get it early in Q3, because keep in mind, July is technically the first month of Q3, and I just think that there's way too much going on from a like end of airdrop standpoint and economy kind of getting upended standpoint, that I think they'll probably want some time before they just really start throwing a bunch of other things out there. Granted, SPS and the game meta changing doesn't really get affected too much by DEC going back to its peg. I mean, maybe it does, but there's still going to be a lot of things there that I think the team will want to let the dust settle. So I wouldn't be surprised if we get a launch or a release of Rift Watchers, meaning that it's playable like literally at the end, like end of September, which would be the last couple of days of Q3. Maybe we get, if I had to put a timeline out there, end of the airdrop is July 26th. They give up give it maybe like a couple of weeks. The pre-sale for Rift Watchers goes live maybe at the end of August. If it goes for 1 month, then, you know, smooth sailing. They release it at the end of September. If they want it to only go for a couple of weeks, maybe they actually start the pre-sale in mid-September. So we still have a while away from that. But from a demand standpoint, that is coming. And those are probably going to be the two big ones to watch over the rest of the year. So there were a couple other mini updates here. I don't think it's anything that's worth talking about in this video, just because I wanted to keep the focus on SPS and what the upcoming supply and demand dynamics could look like with the dilution updates that will be happening. So this is exciting news. Obviously, we knew this was coming, but to get some real numbers attached to it rather than me just trying to speculate of what's going on here based on the white paper, we actually have some hard numbers that we can look at, and we are going to be going from 71 million to 38 million SPS per month, at least for the next 4 years, 53 months-ish. Yeah, 53 months sounds about right. Well, 53 months plus whatever until we get to the end of the airdrop. And I'm saying that because we've gone through 1 year of the staking rewards, so we have one less year of that, and then there's going to be 65 months of these all these other aspects. But I'm still excited about the fact that the dilution rate is coming down. Now, to close out this video, I do want to say something, because I think it's important to temper everybody's expectations. Just because there's going to be a massive supply shock does not mean that we are going to go to the moon. I am very cautiously optimistic about what this is going to do to the SPS price over the next couple of years, not months, years, because the demand needs to be there. And this is where things get tricky for me. When I look at validator nodes, sure, that can be viewed as ongoing demand if they want it for years. But Rift Watchers could potentially just be a pump and dump situation similar to Chaos Legion, because it's a one-time thing, right? People are rushing to try and buy as much as they can, and then yes, more SPS will get locked up, and that's great. But in terms of like the demand being there, it's a one-time thing. So what I'm still looking for is ongoing demand for vouchers, potentially more ongoing demand and utility for SPS. And so I'm hoping that we get that, whether that's through a voucher store, whether that's through, you know, some other kinds of utility that's driven to SPS, because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how much SPS is hitting the market. If it's hitting the market, there's always going to be downward pressure because it's getting diluted, right? It's similar to inflation. But if there is demand for it, that will drive the value up. And until there's ongoing demand, I just want to temper everybody's expectations that we may not be headed, you know, skyrocketing right away. There might be some things added here and there, which will slowly bring us up the mountaintop. But just wanted to put that out there for all of you guys as something to consider. So that's all I have. Have an amazing rest of your day. I will catch you all in the next video, and I will see you around the game. Take care.